Hi, this is Dr. Stephen Elsey, and I specialize in helping people lose weight rapidly and permanently. In the last video, if you remember, we were just talking about this, and we were talking about how the most important first step in permanent weight loss is to regain your leptin sensitivity. And so now we're going to talk about how to do that, because this just tells us that we need it. And now we're going to go back, and we just have to erase a couple of things here. And we can just use this picture. So here's our body fat, and it's making leptin. And leptin is going here to the hypothalamus, right? That's what's supposed to happen. Now, in the last video, what did I tell you about how that gets deranged or interrupted? What makes that receptor insensitive to leptin? And that was this bugaboo here, insulin. Now, the other thing we know, so that's part of the key, is we have to decrease how many insulin spikes you get. Now, lucky for us, we don't have to do it for a long time, but we have to do it for about 6 weeks. I'm going to tell you how in just a second. Now, the second thing that happens, scientists have found that as your body fat goes up and your leptin goes up, that does work on your hypothalamus. What works even more strongly on your hypothalamus is your body fat going down and your leptin going down. That sends a way bigger signal to your hypothalamus, because as your leptin goes down, then your brain is thinking, oh no, we're starving, okay? Now, we want your brain to think you're starving just for a little bit, because what we're trying to do is get that leptin sensitivity back. So we want your brain actively trying to do that. So here's what we do. We are going to do two things. Okay? Now, first, number one is we're going to decrease your insulin spikes, okay? We're going to decrease insulin. And the way we do that is changing the way you eat. Now, we're going to talk more in a couple videos about exactly what you're going to eat, but suffice it to say for today that what we're going to do is we're going to change the way you eat. And so for a 6-week period of time, you're going to be focused on losing as much weight as you possibly can. And so that's the second thing we're going to do, is we're going to, we're decreasing insulin, and then number two, we're decreasing calories. All right? So as we decrease your insulin, we start to remove some of that interference from that receptor. And as we reduce your calories, we start burning fat. As your body fat goes down, that gives you a big boost, a big impetus to your brain to start getting sensitive to leptin again. Now, the good news is that all this starts to take effect in about 6 weeks. So what we do is we put you on a very restricted diet for 6 weeks. Now, in that 6 weeks, you will have started to get your leptin sensitivity back. And then what we do is you go ahead and start eating a normal amount of calories for you, but we're still being careful with how many insulin spikes we create, because we want this to kind of set in and start working. And so over a period of another 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to start adding in more and more of the foods that will cause an insulin spike, and we're gauging how well you react to that so that we can keep your leptin sensitivity where it's supposed to be. Okay? All right. So if you have any questions, like I said before, feel free to send me an email. My email address is right here on the bottom of the screen, and I will be happy to answer your questions, and we'll go from there. Okay? So Dr. Elsey checking out. Oh, by the way, this is the end of rule number 1, right? You need to regain leptin sensitivity, and here's how we do it. So now on our next video, we're going to go to rule number 2, and that is that we have to fix the rest of your brain, specifically the ventral tegmental area. We'll get to that in just a minute. Okay? Dr. Elsey checking out. Talk to you later. Bye.